Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Go Big Go Home. I'm Old Man Floyd, joined by the returning Dr. Grant, Captain Cunningham, a.k.a. Big Cunny on Twitter. How are your wedding travel? Not your own wedding. Your best man duty travel.
They were good. My wife and I left from Jacksonville, which is like as north as you can get in the state of Florida. And we went to O'Hare Airport, which is in Chicago. So that flight took like 2 hours both ways on the dot. So that was very nice. You know, no 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour flights.
I've been on some of those.
Yeah, I agree. No layovers, no nothing. So the flights themselves were good. The turnaround for Saturday, the wedding was on Saturday, this past Saturday. So if I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about when recapping games, that's why. But so the wedding was this past Saturday, and
Youngster, do we ever know? Sound like you know what we're talking about?
I hope so.
We're two yahoos on a Big Ten podcast that are like terrible on lock week. So I don't know how much stock we can put into. We know what we're talking about.
Hmm.
I
think we know what we're talking about. We just don't pick correctly against the spread. That's all. But yeah, the wedding went until 11:30 midnight, and I had to get up at 4 in the morning basically to start the drive from Wisconsin to O'Hare to then get on the plane and then drive another 4.5 hours home Sunday afternoon. So by the time I got home Sunday, my head was like, I basically pulled an all-nighter. I probably slept an hour because once I got home from driving home from the wedding, which was like 45 minutes, at that point you're not like, at least for me, I was still buzzing. I was not necessarily awake, ready to go, but I was not ready for complete sleep. I'll put it that way. So I got like an hour of sleep, but whatever. Here now.
You're young. Your body will recover.
Yeah, I already feel basically back to Tuesday as we're recording the show. So all is well now.
All right, well, let's move on then. I got nothing. Same old boring life over here with the old man. It is. I mean, that's what it is. It's work, podcast, radio show. Oh, throw a little DraftKings in there. I will share this, though, youngster. The NFL Pick'em game, FanDuel, they have this contest, right, for the NFL. Straight up pick the winner. And if you're like 16-0 or whatever, however many games there are that week, you could win a share of $10,000. So depending on how many people pick right. There's usually, I guess, a lot. I don't know. I never won. This week, one loss.
Wow.
The
I
Fibbers.
used to do that.
The Fibbers in Chicago. The Chicago Bears screwed me.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I used to pick, not against the spread, but just with my family, just straight up NFL games. I never went 16-0. I would say 14-2. I don't think I've ever pulled off 15-1, to be honest. So yeah, that's
if Panero would have made that field goal,
right?
I share it today what my little share of $10,000 was.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
unbelievable. Yeah, up until this point, I was like, a normal week I have like 3 or 4 wrong. This week though, I was like I didn't even look at it till like the after game, and I'm like, son of a gun. I'm like, darn fair. All right, well, let's talk college football. Nobody wants to hear about me complain about my one loss getting robbed of money because of a missed field goal. Let's get at it. For those that listen in all the time, we recap the AP Top 25, the new one that came out on Monday. Look at last Big Ten games, then move into next week's game. So take it away, youngster. AP Top 25, a little more movement.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention, actually a couple things I want to mention. First off, the first college football playoff rankings, I believe, let me see here. Hold on. I'll get it. I believe it's the first Tuesday. Is that right?
Yeah, it's usually the first Tuesday in November, correct?
Yeah. Last year it was on October 30th. That's not the case this year. Otherwise, it would be literally.
I think it's next Tuesday as we're recording.
Yeah.
A week from today.
I think you are correct. Yeah. We might. Maybe we'll postpone the show a day and do it Wednesday or something. Maybe
we're definitely going to do that.
Yeah. Sounds good. So yeah, on next week's show, we'll actually have real rankings for you. But AP Top 25, take for it what you will. LSU moved up to 1, Alabama down to 2, so they switched because LSU beat Auburn, I guess. So Ohio State's still at 3, Penn State at 5. They went up a spot. And then you have to go down to 13. No more Wisconsin in there, obviously. We'll talk about that. But Minnesota is up to 13 now. They're 8-0. They're perfect. They have a bye this week. And next week, the following week, they play Penn State at home. So that should be, well, it absolutely will be because Penn State's on a bye as well. Previewing next week's games on this episode of Go Big or Go Home is going to go very quick because there's only 4 games to talk about. Minnesota, Penn State both have byes, so both will still be undefeated next week when Minnesota's at home against Penn State. But so Minnesota's at 13, Michigan up to 14 now. Wisconsin's down to 18. I think it's pretty funny how Wisconsin's behind Michigan, seeing as how Wisconsin absolutely dominated Michigan. But it goes to show how much recency bias there is and how much people take into account a game last week as opposed to a game 3 weeks ago. And I know Wisconsin-Michigan was more than 3 weeks ago, but you get my point. I think it's funny. Number 19 is Iowa, and that's it for the Big Ten. So they've got 6 teams in the top 19. Take from that what you will. Again, it's the AP poll. A week from now, it will mean absolutely nothing. We will never talk about the AP poll again on the show.
It means absolutely nothing to me right now.
Yeah. You get realistically, like, the college football playoff will have Ohio State around number 3. It will have Penn State around number 5. Barring some craziness, Minnesota should be around 13. Michigan should be around.
I don't know,
14.
youngster. This Ohio State team, and I know you're an Ohio State fan, but man, I just look at the top 4 teams or top 5 teams. That group that's near the top.
Mm-hmm.
I could make an argument that Ohio State is number 1 in that ranking.
So they're
crushing.
Yeah, they've looked like the best team in the country. I don't know how someone.
They're not squeaking by. Like, right. I could care less about the top 25 poll because I look at all those top teams and I've seen all of them play a little bit, not as much as Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
But man, Ohio State is dominant. Like they embarrassed a decent Wisconsin team. Embarrassed. It wasn't even a game to me. And I texted during the game, and I knew we were at a wedding. I really thought that they should have put Merch in that game. They weren't going to win. You got the 4-game red shirt rule. Let kids play against a real defense. I don't care about this site stuff. Let the kid go in there. You're going to lose anyway. Doesn't matter if Cohen's in there or Merch is in there. You've lost this game. Let the kid play. Get him some reps. He will not lose year of eligibility, and I don't want him to. Cohen beat him out, playing well up until a point. At this point in the season, no, you don't ruin his eligibility. Give him the extra year. But with the 4-game redshirt rule, let him play a half and see what he could have done against one of the best defenses in the country.
Right.
That would have been a great test to see where this freshman's at. And he may have gotten head walloped. But you know what? He probably would have learned from it.
Right.
I had to rant about it before we even got to it. I'm sorry.
I mean, I can see holding off at halftime because the score was only 10-0 at that point. So it took a while not a long while, but it took Ohio State a while to truly get going. But especially after the third, once it was 24-7, as soon as it hit 24-7, making that change would make sense. Like Graham Mertz has played in 2 games this year. He can play in 4 and still redshirt. Call the Ohio State game the third one, throw him in the bowl game at some point. There's your 4. and you can still redshirt. So that would make sense to me. Because especially if you know you're basically going to lose and you're willing to throw Mertz in there, 'cause once they were down 24-7, I mean, you basically knew that it was a 3-score game at that point. It wasn't going Wisconsin's way. So at that point, you know your team's going to be 6-2. You know your team's going to be 3-2 in the Big Ten. Could you possibly, if everything breaks your way, make the Big Ten championship game still? Sure, absolutely. It just takes Penn State beating Minnesota to be one game out, and then all you have to do is beat Minnesota to have the tiebreak. So it's not some crazy scenario. But at the end of the day, is Wisconsin going to the college football playoff? No. So at the end of the day, they're going to a meaningless bowl game anyway. So again, why not see what Merck has at that point? 10-0, I can understand thinking you have a chance, because you did at that point. But anyway, I'm with you, Troy. I'll move on past the AP Top 25. The other thing I want to mention to you before recapping games is the college basketball starts on Tuesday as well. The first game is November 5th. So, again, we will be able to talk a little bit of hoops. Maybe we'll do a mini 30-minute hoop show, just to kind of, not necessarily a season preview type thing, but more of just an overarching.
So we can recap the University of Brownie playing University of Cupcake.
Well, Michigan State plays.
I know there's a couple.
Who is?
Come on, get a laugh out of it, youngster. There's very little good, intriguing games in the month of November.
Right.
There's a couple in the preseason tournament, or I guess not preseason, but those beginning of the year tournaments. Usually the Maui invite.
Right. That's the thing. Is like 90% of the games in November are garbage, but it's those Maui tournaments. It's that 2K Sports Classic or whatever. It's the Champions Classic, whatever it's called. Michigan State's in it every year. Michigan State, Kentucky. I think Michigan State plays Kentucky on Tuesday. But yeah, Michigan State, Kentucky, Kansas, and Duke are always a part of that. They always flip-flop what the matches are each year. But so yeah, we'll hopefully be able to get out something small regarding college basketball, just to say, hey, it's here, and here are our thoughts, and yada yada. So anyway, yeah, wanted to mention that. Unless you got anything else, Troy, we can get your recap.
No, let's go to game.
So, I'll start with this because I always go in chronological order. At least I try to. Ohio State, Wisconsin. And again, this is the only game, I think. Yeah, I saw a couple minutes of Penn State, Michigan State. I think that's it. Because again, I was doing wedding stuff. But
yeah, you were doing best man stuff, right?
Yeah. I got to the suite, what they call the groomsmen suite, at the venue at 11:30 or so at that time, and so I had missed most of the first quarter. But I was able to follow the game along. Was able to sit there and watch the game truly progress, and exactly how Ohio State won 38-7, and exactly every part of the game. No, I wasn't, but I was able to at least follow the game casually.
So let me ask you this, youngster: did you see the going touchdown pass?
I did.
And did I text about that? How the announcer said that was the best touch pass he's ever seen throw and throw. He wasn't throwing no darn touch pass. He doesn't have a touch pass. He was going to the end zone for Davis and threw the ball, and Taylor happened to cut off his route or run the wrong route, and he happened to be there. That was not a touch pass. I am sorry. I darn near pooped my pants on the couch when I heard the announcer say that. I'm like, there is no way.
Yeah.
And he dropped it right in there. Have you been watching this quarterback all year? I'm sorry.
And the other thing is there were two receivers just flying down the field on that. They were like 5 yards apart from each other. They were just basically going to the end zone. So it's like, what, he's going to randomly throw a touch pass to the inside guy towards the sideline and randomly assume that the outside guy is just going to run past the ball and it becomes one-on-one coverage. Like, one of the two Ohio State defensive backs that were there was play the ball, and it would have been an interesting play. But instead, it looked like a perfect pass from Cone.
It looked, for the naked eye,
Right.
what a pass like that.
Right.
And to the Badger fan, what a luck break the Badgers just got.
Yeah. So tell me your thoughts, because, again, I was able to casually follow the game, but just your thoughts on this game overall. I was surprised when I walked in and I saw it was 0-0 going into the second quarter. I don't know what the situation was in the first quarter at all. I guess I'll say that much.
You have a good Wisconsin defense, youngster. The problem with Wisconsin is shut down Taylor and you win the game. It's that simple. I mean, everybody wanted to see, and I know early in this offense, Cupcake City, Brownie City, cake a doodle doo. Someone's making passes against inferior defense. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like he's terrible, but he's not a big-time quarterback. He can't make big-time throws. And when go ahead.
I was going to say he's a fine D1 college quarterback. Like, he's fine, and we've seen that this year where he can play really well. But against a defense that has projected, I mean, including backup, 10-plus NFL bodies on the defense, again, from top to bottom, not just talking 11 starters, they have 10 NFL guys, but just overall on their defense, that's what it's projected to. You've got to be a really good quarterback.
You need to have you have to have more than a fine quarterback. Like,
right.
You have to have a potential at least NFL backup on your roster.
Yeah, because we've seen guys like Trace McSorley look like crap, against Ohio State, and it's like, is he an NFL backup? Sure. At least he can somewhat hold his own and buy some time with his legs and make some plays here and there. But if you're just some average run-of-the-mill college quarterback that has no shot at the NFL, you're going to get eaten alive by a defensive front that has 3 NFL bodies on it.
Yeah, and in a game like this, Kevin, with a team that is so stout in the middle and stout up front, Taylor's a great back. But you know that's what they're going to do. They're going to make Cohen beat you. The Badgers, and they kept it close, and they tried to stick to their game plan, and I'll tell you, that's the stubbornness of Chris. He'll stick to the game plan. He'll be down, he'll still run the ball. And sometimes I like that, but in a game like this, it's a game where you got to open it up right away. You got to loosen up the defense. You've got to go deep, and you've got to show the threat that, hey, look, we're going to try to pass. We know that running and getting yards is going to be at a premium. We're going to pass. And that's what you needed to do. And you don't have a quarterback to do that. Again, Kevin, I didn't expect the Badgers to win this game. And I guess I overreact a little bit. It's just, you can tell that that Ohio State team is head and shoulders above Wisconsin. Yeah. And so, I know a couple of weeks ago, and I'm reading stuff on social media, Badger fans, if you're listening to Badger fans, I know we got a lot of friends of the show, youngsters that are Badger fans. The top 10 ranking was over in. They're not a top 10. I'm sorry. They've got a great defense. Maybe that gives an upset once in a while, but until we find out if Mertz is actually the guy, they're a top 20, not a top 10. And I'm just being real. And you know me, youngster, I'm a diehard Badger fan. I wasn't arguing that they were in the top 10. I just didn't think they were a top 10 team. But the way the schedule was going, they were winning. The voters gave them the vote. Fine. Yeah. But I didn't think realistically they were one of the top 10 overall defensively. Yeah, they're a top 10 defense for sure, but not a.
Yeah, I could make the argument that they're the 10th best team in the country. I think they're better than Baylor. I think they would certainly hold their own against Auburn. I think they should be favored against Minnesota. We already saw what they did in Michigan. I'm talking about teams in front of them right now, 11 through 17, SMU, I'd take Wisconsin. We saw what Michigan did to Notre Dame, and Cincinnati's right ahead of Wisconsin. Ohio State blew out Cincinnati, and that's not a question that Wisconsin's better than Cincinnati. But so I think they're
a
I think
they're a
different level.
second-tier team, youngster. They're not
exactly.
in the national playoff.
Right. That's the difference. Is you have teams like LSU, Bama, Ohio State, Clemson, maybe Penn State's in there, but teams like Florida, Oregon, Georgia, Utah, Oklahoma, Auburn, they're not real contenders to win 2-3 elite games back to back like that.
So could the Badgers pull an upset against one of those? Yeah, they could pull an upset, but like you said, they can't win in the playoffs. They're not going back-to-back games and knocking off those. But they could pull off one. Mm-hmm. But they're not there yet. They're just in that tier below. They're in that conversation with those teams that are, I guess the best of the second best. But we can carry on, youngster. Again, the game itself, Ohio State dominates. They just flex their muscles over time, shut down the run, make Cohen beat them, and he's going to do it. It's as simple as that.
Two quick things that I have. J.K. Dobbins has been the best running back in the Big Ten this year. And I know I'm an Ohio State fan, and I know Jonathan Taylor is probably a better pure running back. But just when it comes to playing teams like Wisconsin, when it comes to Wisconsin playing teams like Ohio State, Jonathan Taylor can be bottled up. And, does that have to do with Ohio State having elite playmakers on the outside and a real NFL quarterback in Justin Fields, and so Wisconsin can't focus completely on Dobbins? Absolutely. If you flip-flop Dobbins and Taylor, would Dobbins have done much better than Jonathan Taylor? I highly doubt it. But as far as what they have done over the course of this season, Dobbins had a better season. Like, he's still averaging 7-8 yards a carry, even against teams like Wisconsin. Like, he averaged over 8 yards a carry. He scored twice. I mean, he has been arguably the real true difference maker. Him and Chase Young really have been night and day from what Ohio State was a year ago. Chase Young has helped lift the defense. He
could be the number one overall pick.
Oh, yeah. No question.
I think get that, and they need a quarterback.
I was going to say, I don't think he will be. But, yeah, Miami, Cincinnati just benched Andy Dalton. I mean, they're obviously looking for a new
the quarterback. So he's going to be I think he'll be the first defensive player off the board. And if he's not, the team needs to get their head.
Yeah, he's the best overall pure football player, yes. Because of how much the quarterback position means, he won't be number one overall. He shouldn't be, realistically. But is he the best player that makes the most impact?
The thing is, youngster, in a different year, if up there have a quarterback, normally teams that are drafting that high don't have a quarterback. But what if you had a team like the Giants and they had Daniel Jones and they were number one? I mean, would they take another quarterback there? I mean, there's been a lot of young guys taken.
I hear you. I just think another team should trade at that point. Like, if you're the Bengals and you're sitting there, it's like, do I want to sit here and wait at 3 or 4? Or do I want to give up an extra third-round pick and a 6 to make sure I get the guy I need at number 1?
Well, the Bengals might get that number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
Them and the Dolphins battling it out.
Yeah, no question. But so Chase Young, I mean, in a game where everything was magnified, like, oh my God, Wisconsin's got these NFL guys up front, and we'll see how he does, and yet he gets a sack in every single quarter. I mean, it just goes to show how dominant he can be. He has definitely taken the defense to another level, and Dobbins has taken the running game at Ohio State to another level, which is something they didn't have a year ago. And Dobbins was part of the running game a year ago, but he was sharing duty with Mike Weber. So he wasn't able to be the full guy. And again, Justin Fields has something to do with it, but last year's team had Dwayne Haskins. So it's not as though Dobbins didn't have help from the quarterback position last year. But he has definitely stepped up. Leave it at that. So let's see here. Chronologically, shoot, I don't necessarily have it in chronological order on my screen here, but I'll just go down the line as I see it. Penn State, Michigan State. Michigan State was at home. Penn State was up 21-0 at half. Penn State won the game 28-7. It's the same Michigan State garbage every week. Where if they play an average team, they might win a low-scoring game. If they play a bad team, maybe you'll see them win 31-7. But if they play a team like Penn State, if they play a team like Michigan down the line, if they play a team like Ohio State, they're going to lose pretty quickly because they just can't.
Well, I don't think we're going to see Michigan State pull any upsets against opponents ranked higher than them.
Right.
I mean, you and I have had this discussion.
Michigan State's not even ranked anymore.
The whole D'Antonio thing.
Yeah.
It's at this point, you got guys going into the transfer portal. We talked about it on last week's show. The virus in the locker room is there. It's out. People want out. It's going to be hard for him to get motivated. They're 20, 21, 22 years old, and if they've given up, they've given up. Sorry. You're not getting back. I hate to say it that way, but unless it comes easy, these kids are not going out to give extra effort. Now, again, I'm just talking, and I'm not in the locker room, but we got all these kids in the transfer portal. There's definitely issues somewhere in that program. Kids want out. You and I kind of agree. It's not a fire D'Antonio thing in my mind, Kevin. It's just one of those things. You and I, correct me if I'm wrong, just think D'Antonio's going to walk away. I don't think they're going to fire him. I think he'll walk away instead of getting fired. I think he realizes it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. For me, my message would be fire your offensive coaching staff. It's not a fire D'Antonio thing. To me, it's you need changes offensively. That's not just D'Antonio. It's everything. In my opinion, you don't have to let go of defensive guys, but you can make the argument that the offense ineptitude, if that's a word, but the offense being inept, I'll keep it correct that way, definitely aids the defense in terms of not being able to shut teams down like Penn State, like Ohio State, like Michigan. Because, again, if you're on the field for 13, 14 possessions, you're going to give up points eventually. So, but we have seen Michigan State allow 28, 31, 34 points. So, I just think this team needs an offensive overhaul from a coaching staff perspective. I still think D'Antonio is a really good coach. I'll never say fire D'Antonio. We have mocked that.
No, I think he's a good coach too, youngster, and I think there'll be opportunity for him elsewhere. I mean, if I'm D'Antonio, all the flack that I've gotten, and especially now everything with these players, I would. It's like that nagging headache that you just want to go away. You wake up with it, and it just sits there for like half the day, and it bothers you at times, and eventually it goes away. Just get rid of your headache, D'Antonio. Go somewhere else. Get a fresh start. You had a great run at Michigan. I do like him as a coach. I just think right now everything that's going on at Michigan State, it's time to start fresh. Just go somewhere. He'll get a job in a matter of weeks. That's not the issue. So for him, I would just look to start anew. How about that Penn State team, though, Kevin? Again, quietly undefeated. Going into a bye, then we'll preview the game and maybe talk a little bit more about them. But they've got a lot of young playmakers, and our thoughts at the beginning of the year were like, well, we just have to kind of ride it out, see what Franklin's going to do over there, see if these guys can mesh together. But, man, that front on that defense, whew, pretty darn good. And offensively, I think they're starting to get some cohesive. 28 points against Michigan State defense, that's not bad. Not bad. And these guys are still growing and learning. But they're quietly sitting right there, Kevin. Are they better than Ohio State? I'm not saying that. Just saying I didn't expect them to be 8-0 at this point. What about you?
No, yeah, I agree with that. I think they are the next team in line right after the elite everyone sees LSU as elite, everyone sees Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State as elite, but after those four, then I think that Penn State's ranked fifth for a reason. People believe they are the fifth best team in the country. I wouldn't go against that right now because their defensive line is that good. Their defense as a whole has been playing that well. And offensively, Sean Clifford has stepped in as quarterback. And even though he wasn't supposed to be the starter this year, the guy that was supposed to be the starter transferred to play for an old coach that coached at Penn State. So Clifford wasn't even supposed to be the guy. And at running back, they have like four different guys they use. And wide receiver, now you're seeing more of KJ Hamler and how explosive he can be. It's just young offense that had a ton of question marks. Plenty of speed, plenty of talent, but plenty of question marks. Has just been really strong. And the defensive line has been elite like it, was anticipated to be, but you don't really know until it, obviously games are played. But yeah.
Yeah, well, the Michigan offense supposed to break records, be untouchable. That didn't work.
Looked really good on Saturday. Say that much.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about it. All right, move on.
Minnesota against Maryland. Minnesota was at home in this one. Minnesota won 52-10. By the way, we took Maryland plus 17 in this game, so we were down to 3-9 now for our go figure go home lock of the week. I was dead wrong. I thought Maryland had a chance to seriously win the game, and yet here we are. They lost by 42 points. Minnesota's offense. I have to pull up their schedule to make sure I get this right, but it would be hard to believe Minnesota's offense through 8 games. But since the opener, they have scored at least 34 points in every game, and even the opener, they scored 28. They scored 28 plus in every game. They scored 34 plus in every game except the opener. I mean, they've been really, really, really good since their bye. After their cupcake, they played Purdue. They scored 38 points. They beat Illinois by 23. They beat Nebraska by 27. They beat Rutgers by 35, and they just beat Maryland by 42.
So I'm going to stop you there, youngster. I'm going to stop you there. Go through those teams again and tell me where the top defenses are.
No, and no.
So and again, played. I will give credit to Minnesota for being able to put points on the board. But you're looking at 5 teams that probably rank, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in the Big Ten in defense? I'm just saying.
No, I know.
They're near the bottom. You're expecting. And
right.
Again, Minnesota's taking care of business. You never apologize for your schedule. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
That's who's on the schedule to take care of business. Great. But I'm not going to sit here and anoint Minnesota's offense as one of the best in the Big Ten because it's been against the bottom defense.
What I think it is a good offense. I like their quarterback. I don't love their quarterback. I like their running back, and I really like their receivers. And their offensive line has gotten better as the year has gone on. I think it's a good offense. But against Penn State on November 9th, a couple weeks from now.
Yeah, there's a test. We'll see how good it is.
Right. Penn State's already favored in that game. I guess I won't say the number, but that number
change. It'll change. Yeah. We won't preview that game until next week.
Right.
They both have a bye. So what is the opening line at? Like 8.5?
6.5. Yeah. Penn State's favored by basically.
Not bad for the old guy, right?
Yeah.
Close again.
One thing I want to mention too with Minnesota, only because Northwestern has been that bad, they would have a chance to have their toughest 4 games back to back to close the season. Like I said before, they play Penn State, then they travel to play Iowa, then they travel to play Northwestern, which now that's not a difficult game, but then they close out with Wisconsin at home. So
that could be 3 losses in the Big Ten, right?
Yeah. according to ESPN's little FPI rating system, they have the hardest remaining schedule in college football. By the way, number 2, and I had to write about this yesterday, number 2 was Rutgers, and this is for every team in the country. And number 3 is Maryland, and I think it was number 6 is Nebraska. There were 8 teams in the Big Ten out of the top 19 that have the toughest remaining schedules in college football.
And that's all because of conference.
Right. Yeah, it's all conference.
And so you're looking at a national level where the toughest remaining schedules are all mostly in the Big Ten. Just goes to our argument that the Big Ten is the best football conference in the nation.
Yeah. 5 of the top 10 toughest remaining schedules from the Big Ten. There's 1 team from the SEC in there. And again,
all right.
8 from the Big Ten top 10.
So I got nothing more about Minnesota, Maryland.
No, yeah.
Going out the point, Minnesota is a good team. But let's see now in the last 4 games how they finish out this. I could see them going 1-3.
Yeah. We'll see. My dog is going insane, by the way.
Yeah, it's okay. He's happy that the best man is home.
That's part of it. Yeah. But anyway, Iowa was on the road against Northwestern. Iowa won 20-0. Does that score really shock anybody? I mean, Northwestern's offense has been garbage. Iowa didn't blow them out, but Iowa won convincingly, solidly, just took care of business 20-0. Again, I have nothing more on the game. It is what was to be expected, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. Northwestern is one of the disappointments this year. A team when we did our preview that we thought would be in the mix, a possible return to the Big Ten championship game, and the wheels just fell off the bus.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say it's all on the coaching, but sometimes the expectations. I mean, we're going to talk about Nebraska. There's another team that didn't live up to that expectation. We really didn't think this would be a couple team ranked top of the division. We really thought it would go down the last couple. There'd be like 5 teams vying for the conference title, or the division title. Now, unfortunately, it's not going to work out that way. But it was an Iowa game. I mean, you look at a score like this, 20-0. That is traditional Iowa football, right there. We're going to dominate you with defense, control the game, control the possession. We're not going to score a ton of points, and we're going to walk all over you and then leave your stadium and go home. And that's okay. That's all I got. Move on.
Illinois at Purdue. This one surprised me when I saw the final score. Illinois was up 24-0 after the third quarter, and the game final score was 24-6. So Illinois took care of business on the road, and this was a Purdue offense that had looked better over the last few weeks, despite having their backup quarterback. They were still looking better, and Illinois just went in there after the massive Wisconsin upset and was up 24-0 after 3 quarters.
Yeah, love playing for an extension now.
Illinois, Illinois right now is 4-4, and they should be favored to go 6-6 and make a bowl game. So Lovey's best year. This is his 4th year. Last year was his 3rd year, obviously. Last year was his best year. They went 4-8. But again, so this year you're seeing improvement. Like last year, they technically had an improvement in terms of win total, and this year, unless everything goes crazy, they should at least have 5 wins. If not
Isn't it
6,
funny, though, youngster, before the Wisconsin game, we were talking about maybe this is it for Lovey.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm joking about the extension. But I told you that Wisconsin saved his job. I'm still not sure if Lovey missed the college football.
Right.
I mean, yeah, they've got 2 wins. They beat Wisconsin. They went on the road. They beat Purdue. But is this team, Kevin, you brought it up, is this team showing improvement? What are the expectations of Illinois football? Every once in a while, catch lightning in a bottle and contend for a division championship. Be in the middle of the pack. Maybe 7-5, 8-4, somewhere in there. But is this team really showing improvement over the course of Lovey's tenure? Taking an awful long time. And maybe it has. maybe they'll surprise us here on the way out of the season. But I'm just not so sure that Lovey is a. I like Lovey because I have nothing against the man. I'm just not sure if he's a college football coach. I really think there's some guys that are college coaches, there's some guys that are NFL coaches. And I think Lovey spent so much time in the NFL, that's where he belongs. As some kind of defensive coordinator, somewhere in there. We'll see. But, hats off to the Fighting Alliance. 2 in a row. Good job.
Yeah, no question about it. Like I said, this team should go 6-6 and make a bowl game. Like this coming week they play Rutgers at home, and then to end the season they play Northwestern.
Watch them lose to Rutgers after we just hyped them up.
I was talking to my boss about that. Like if they lost to Rutgers, I mean it would just completely erase the last 2 weeks. Like completely erase that Wisconsin win. Just as far as from an Illinois perspective. Like, oh yeah, unbelievable. We, had this unbelievable homecoming, shocking last-second game-winning field goal to be the top 10 team that's dominated everybody to this point. If you lose to Rutgers, that's just done. Because there's no way you should lose to Rutgers if you're a Big Ten school.
No, you're absolutely right.
Anyway, so I do think Illinois does go 6-6. They play at Michigan State, and then they play at Iowa, the other 2 games on their schedule remaining. So I do think they go 6-6 and make a bowl game. I don't know what that means, but it to me, when I look at Illinois and when I watch them play, defensively, I'm surprised they are where they are, although the last 2 weeks they have obviously looked better. But from an athletic perspective, from a speed perspective, from what they're getting from their running back, usually, they do look better than they have the last 2 years. So I'll say that. Maybe it is taking 4 years. Maybe it is taking a full, true recruiting roster overhaul to make the team a little better. So maybe it is just taking Lovie Smith a little bit of time. I don't know, and I don't think we're going to necessarily know that by the end of this year either. Because, again, they should beat Rutgers. They should beat Northwestern at home. They should lose to Michigan State and Iowa on the road. I mean, unless something different happens, then I don't really know what we're going to learn, other than eyeball tests and watching and seeing how they look against a Michigan State, against an Iowa on the road. But otherwise, again, they should go 6-6 and make a bowl game. There's no reason why they shouldn't at this point. So I'll move on. Speaking of Rutgers, they were a touchdown underdog to Liberty, and they won 44-34. Their quarterback ran for 118 yards and a touchdown. He threw for almost 200. He had 21 carries. He is a redshirt freshman, I believe, and I know he played high school football for this current interim coach that's at Rutgers in Campanile, however you pronounce it. I've heard many ways. So the quarterback knows the interim coach. The interim coach knows the quarterback. He knows what he likes to do. He knows he is a bigger, athletic kid. Not necessarily Peyton Manning, but more of a running type, bruising quarterback. So as long as you know your personnel and get the most out of them, that's all you can ask for from a coach. Does beating Liberty mean anything? No, but at least Rutgers won a game. Like
at least it's a win, right?
Yeah, they surprised me. They won this game, and they will finish better than 1-11. I didn't think they would. And last year they finished 1-11. This year they doubled their win total from 1 to 2. That's surprising. I didn't think that was going to happen. So that being said, Rutgers this year defeated Liberty and UMass in week 1. So again, is the team getting better? I don't necessarily think so, but they at least.
All right, move on.
Yeah. Indiana at Nebraska. 2 games left here. Indiana at Nebraska. Indiana won 38-31. Again, I believe Adrian Martinez did not appear in this game. The quarterback from Nebraska, I know he didn't. He is supposed to play in next week's game. Obviously, we'll talk about Nebraska's game against Purdue in a bit here. But again, Nebraska was without their starting quarterback. That being said, Noah Vidal, the backup, 14-16. Luke McCaffrey made an appearance, 5 of 6, touchdown. Their top running back had 22 carries in this game. Offensively, they were fine. They scored 31 points. But defensively, again, seemingly every single week, they struggle. And
every
Indiana
single week? How about every single year?
Yeah. No, you're correct. Indiana has players. They have a good quarterback. They have 2 good quarterbacks. They have Stevie Scott at running back. They have a couple really nice receivers. Whop Philyor, the receiver for Indiana, he's one of them. 14 catches, 178 yards. And that's insane. So no matter who you are. But Indiana is a good team. And, since the Martinez went down a few weeks ago, Nebraska's gone 0-2, so they're down to 4-4. Again, they plan on getting Martinez back for next week. But Nebraska obviously has not lived up to expectations, and I do want to talk for a second about Indiana and how they are 6-2. They are bowl eligible, and it's before November.
Woohoo!
Yeah, woohoo for Indiana. Like they've made 3 bowl games since 1994.
Yeah,
they haven't
you
been
know how
ranked.
I feel about the bowl, so youngster.
This team, though, Troy, this team is so much. It looks a lot better, and they're winning more football games than they have in a long time.
No, it's good for Indiana, but I'm going down the whole bowl for eligible.
No,
I'm glad. I'm happy for Indiana, but it's almost to the point where, like you said, so you're like Illinois could be 6-6 and go to a bowl game. Who cares?
Right.
6-6, and we talked about this last year at the end of the. They're adding bowls, get extra practice time. Screw it, let everybody practice. Play more games. I mean, these bowl games, to me, you're getting the the Billboard Classic, the Pave the Highway bowl game. I mean, who cares? I know Indiana's playing better, and at 6-2, that's a good record. So I don't care if they're bowl eligible. They actually have a decent record. Now finish the season strong. Can you get to 9-10 wins? That'll be tough. But it's just we talked, and I'm sure I'll rant about it more at the end of the season. When there might even be, there's so many bowls that sometimes teams with under 500 records get in. Yeah, that to me is ridiculous. I remember growing up, and I'm an old guy, but your team was 8-4, and you were hoping you got a bowl in play. Now 8-4, you're going to like one of these middle level bowl games. So it's just it's the bowl game. You have been saturated with so many of them. And it's all about money. I understand that. Understand it. But I don't think you should be rewarded for being mediocre. I really don't. I don't believe in it. It to me, Kevin, it's almost like, oh, here's your participation trophy. You played in college football in the NCAA, and you won as many games as you lost. Go to a bowl game. Mediocre. Mediocrity at its best. But it's all about the greenback. So I had to go on a little rant there, but good job for Indiana. I mean, again, it goes to show the Big Ten, and that's where I get my excitement. Big Ten football. You got teams like Indiana all of a sudden thrown out 6 wins or 6-2. You got Illinois at 500. These are teams we didn't expect to be where they're at. That's awesome. Makes the conference that much better. So it's great. So I had to go on my bowl rant, but as far as Indiana goes, yeah, great. Awesome. Making the conference more competitive. Now where you're at, you're taking care of business against teams you should, and teams that are just as good as you. Now you have to take the next step. Now you have to start getting competitive against, Penn State, the Michigan State, the Wisconsin, the Iowa. That's where you have to go now. Yeah. And can they do it? I mean, that's the next step. So good job, Indiana. That's all I got.
Yeah. The only reason I bring up bowl stuff for Illinois, for Indiana, is it is a massive improvement for those teams. Like 5 years ago, hey, you still only had to go 500 and win 6 games, and yet those teams weren't doing that. And now, like, they should do that. Indiana has already done that before November. So it's, for that program, it means something. For Iowa, for, Wisconsin to say you're bowl eligible, that's just stupid. Nobody cares. For Indiana to appear in 3 bowl games in, a 20 year, it actually does something for him. And, Tom Allen in his 3rd year, taking this team to a bowl game and 6-2 already off that, it's like, okay, this team's improving. Like, we just talked about Illinois, and is the team really improving or not? We don't really know. They're slowly improving, maybe. But this Indiana team, like, yeah, this program is moving forward, and they are beating Rutgers and Maryland and Nebraska back to back to back. And it's like, should they? Not necessarily. Like, it could be Rutgers is one of those years for Rutgers. It could be one of those years for Maryland. It could be one of those years for Nebraska. But this year, it's Indiana's year. So props to them for, like you said, Troy, taking care of teams that you quote-unquote should / that are on your level. And so it's like, yeah, this Indiana team this year is actually pretty decent. They've got some players. So it just goes to show the improvement the program made under Tom Allen. So I think that's cool. This coming week they play Northwestern at home. They should go to 7-2. Then they have a bye. Then they play at Penn State. Then they play Michigan at home. It's like, well, we'll really see how improved Indiana is, And then they close at Purdue. They probably should be favored to go 8-4, but 8-4 for Indiana is basically unheard of. Like, this team hasn't been ranked in 25 years. So to go 8-4 is impressive for that program. Just want to give a little shout out there, and I agree with you 100% that just because you're bowl eligible, it's very easy to be bowl eligible. But for a team like Illinois, for a team like Indiana, for them it's actually new, as sad as that is. The last game, Michigan at home against Notre Dame. Michigan was up at least 17-0 at halftime. They obviously won this game 45-14. The one thing I want to mention, 2 things I want to mention. Shea Patterson, the quarterback, 6 of 12 in the game. 6 of 12. And the last thing I want to mention, really, because, again, I didn't see this game, but last thing I want to mention was Josh Gaddis was brought in as an offensive coordinator. The team wanted to go spread and all this. And, again, like, since the last 2.5 quarters against Penn State and the whole Notre Dame game, like, they have shifted the way they play. And they are truly run first again. And they just beat Notre Dame, who was ranked in the top 10 by 31 points.
Unbelievable how a good running game can open up and off.
So my thing is, too, that, like, is Josh Gaddis still in complete control of the offense, or did it go back to Jim Harbaugh? Because all of a sudden, like, halftime hit, and it's like, oh, gee, look, Michigan can play again. And then, oh, look, they just blew out Notre Dame and ran the ball up and down the throat.
I'd have to, if I was a betting man, sometimes I am, I would say Jim Harbaugh's got both paws in that pie. I mean, Jim Harbaugh is an arrogant, egotistical coach. And he's a good coach. I'm saying it how I see it. He doesn't like that criticism he's been getting. He doesn't like the criticism that he gets fired. He doesn't want that. So here's what's going to happen. He's going to make this team play really well down the stretch and probably walk away from it. That's my guess. That's what my gut tells me. Is that those rumors to the NFL, they've not been verified. Say they're rumors. I don't think Harbaugh likes to be that man that's on, and I'm not going to call the hot. I don't think Harbaugh likes to be criticized. I just go back and look at some of his NFL press conferences. He gets a little worked up when all of a sudden there's a little bit of fire on him. Yeah. Gets a little testy. And he was the man at Michigan. They're not going to a championship this year. That's going to come up in the offseason. A couple of weeks ago, Team Boosters probably wanted to. Yeah. He's rectified that situation by winning a couple of games, playing well at the back end of Penn say, I think Harbaugh's going to look at it and say, you know what? The NFL's a little bit more lucrative. Yeah, I got to coach prima donnas, but here we go. Back to the NFL like now. Because there'll be opportunities.
Yeah, could be. Could very well be. I just really think that he has definitely more input in the offense than he did a few weeks ago. Like their top three running backs had.
I think he's in complete control of it, youngster. Don't fool people. I think he's running the offense.
Maybe.
He's not putting his future in the hands of somebody else right now. Yeah. They've looked like crap up to this point. Harbaugh knows that if he doesn't do something, he's going to get his butt fired. Getting fired is not going to look good if you want to walk away and go to the NFL. If they put something good together here down the stretch, win more than they lose, he can walk away on his own terms and do what he wants, and he still then is riding hot. As I mentioned, egotistical coach. Getting fired is not in his vocabulary. So he took complete control of that offense.
Yeah, you're probably right. They should finish the year 9-3, by the way, and make a bowl game, obviously, and potentially once again.
So youngster, 9-3, and Michigan fans are boo-hooing.
Right.
Boo-hoo, we're 9-3. Illinois, Indiana, Purdue. They would probably give. I don't know what they'd give. They'd give a lot.
Yeah.
To have a 9-3.
And even teams like any team outside of Ohio State, Penn State, and Wisconsin would be. I think Iowa would be happy with 9-3, 10-2 every year. Like that's basically
Wisconsin,
what Harbaugh's
Kevin, I'm a Wisconsin Badger fan. 9-3 is fine with me.
There you go.
I gotta be real about the Big Ten. Wisconsin is like the third best team in the Big Ten, maybe the fourth. So there you go. There's 3 losses right there. 9-3, 10-2 based on the schedule. That's my realistic outlook for Wisconsin.
Right.
So yeah, 9-3. Am I upset that they lost that game to Illinois? Well, of course I am. Of course I am. But a 10-win season, my expectations are 9-10 wins, right? But I'm happy at 9-3 because that's where I expect them to be. But you're right. You know, a constant team, like if it's in Indiana, we win 9 games a year. Ooh, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, we can move on.
I don't know the last time Indiana won 9 games. I'd have to look it up.
Maybe never.
Anyway. Maybe. So, on to Week 10. That was all of Week 9. Week 10, again, there's only 4 games, so this should go pretty quick. And there's only one team of the 8 that is ranked that is playing this weekend. So if you want to get out and do some kind of family thing, if you're a family guy, gal listening to the show, and you don't want to miss Big Ten football, this would probably be the weekend to miss. Just saying. And again, I talk about it with Troy every week, and I get paid to write about it, but this weekend for the Big Ten is not a fantastic one. So, with that said, let's start with the Week 10 action here. Michigan at Maryland. I will let you guess the spread, as I always do.
Well, considering that Maryland just got shellacked by Minnesota. Minnesota shellacked Maryland. Michigan crushed Notre Dame. Michigan by 21.5.
So close. Michigan by 21 on the dot.
Ah!
It's close. You had one of those last week. I think you were
I did. I hit one right on the head last week. And I do not look at the spread, folks. I do not.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, just in short, Michigan is becoming what Michigan should be this year, which is I shouldn't say they should be run for.
If they stick to the run, they're winning by more. But I'm not going to watch.
The thing is, this team has the talent at quarterback and wide receiver to be able to throw the ball 35 times a game, and that's the thing I don't understand. Is this team is better at quarterback and wide receiver than it is at running back. Realistically, like their top running back is True Freshman. He's good, Charbonnet, but like they have a fifth-year senior quarterback who can move, and they've got like at least 2 NFL wide receivers on the roster, if not 3. So it's like this team should be in the spread. They should flourish in the spread. They should flourish throwing the football. Yet they seem better when they run it for 300 yards. Obviously, you're better when you run it for 300 yards, but this team seems better when they run it 3 times once they pass. And from a roster standpoint, they should be throwing it more.
So I'll give you my old man knowledge and my reasoning why I think that's the way it is. When you run the ball, you get extended drive. You get an extra set of downs. You move the chain. So you have more offensive play. You have more opportunity to be efficient. It just takes a little bit longer when you run the ball. When you're passing it, you have a drop. Oh, crap, 2nd and 10. Okay, 3rd down, you get, 6 yards. Oh, man, now it's 3rd and 4. Kind of that iffy position. Oh, good defense play, got a punt the ball. If you have established a run game, then you can overcome a drop on that 1st down. But if you become a pass first, you put yourself into a situation on a 3rd and 4. How many 3rd and 4s youngster in college football do you see where the team runs? A lot.
Right.
Because they have dominant lines and have good running backs. How many times do you see it in the NFL, a 3rd and 4 run? Not very often.
Right.
Not happening. But if you have established the run, you're now allowing yourself to extend drive. You're giving yourself more opportunity at different points in the ball game. But when teams know you're a pass-first offense, they're going to play with 5, 6 DBs, and you're not going to be as successful as if they've got, there's a threat of a run. We can put 8 in the box, stop the run. Oh, now we got single coverage. Oh, okay. And now if you have the run, we're going to drop the safety man over. Oh, yeah, there's a run. Okay. Now it's 2nd and 4. We get into play action. To me, Kevin, it just opens up the whole playbook, gives the offense more plays. It allows them to just more. That's how I. Now I can totally off in left field. I'm just an old man. I don't know what I'm talking about. But that is why a running game is important, not only in college, but in the NFL.
Yeah.
You have to establish the run, at least the threat of a run. And
right.
the threat, like, we'll run it on 2nd and 6. We're not afraid to run it on 2nd and 6. Where Michigan was, Kevin, down distance was dictating pass or run. So on 1st down, if they get a pass for 7 yards, 2nd and 3, we'll run the ball. If it's 2nd and 10, we're going to go back to pass. 3rd and 5, we're going to. I just think now they have established the threat of a run.
Yeah.
Teams don't know what to do. They can't stack the box. They can't play 5 DB. They're a more complete offense when they run the ball. And it's allowing Patterson to be a better quarterback. Because he doesn't have guys with their ears put back running at his head.
Yeah.
Just some old man thoughts. That's all it is.
No, to me it's correct. Ideally, you want to be balanced. Like, you don't see Texas Tech and Hawaii and these teams that throw it 50 times a game, Washington State, make the college football playoffs. You see, Alabama, Clemson can be dominant in throwing the ball or dominant in running the ball, but they do have that other aspect of their offense to go to as well. You can't be Wisconsin and just run the ball and you're just going to control the game against everybody and just win games that way and go 15-0. You have to have some sort of passing game, and vice versa. You have to have some sort of running game. And Michigan just didn't really have that before. And the same goes for basketball. I mean, you can't be just solely a 3-point chucking team. You have to have some threat of an inside game. You have to have something. You have to have guards on the outside, small forwards that can drive the ball into the lane. and then maybe you kick it out for open threes. But you have to have the threat of getting by that 3-point line and getting to the basket. You can't just solely chuck up a bunch of threes. You can't just solely have two big guys and post everyone up and win an NBA title winning 92 to 86. You have to have some sort of balance, even the best team. And we see that in the NFL. It doesn't matter the sport. You're in soccer, and I don't know soccer that way as much as I do as football and basketball, obviously. But if you are just solely based on one way, and this is the way we're going to win, and this is the way our offense is going to run, and you have no threat of anything else, eventually you're going to lose. Eventually you're not going to win state. You're not going to win the NCAA championship. You're not going to win the Premier League. You're not going to win.
Oh, your soccer analogy, Kevin, how many World Cups does Ronaldo?
Yeah, none.
And I mean, you and I can debate that he might be the best player in the world, right?
Right.
You can't go through one person. I mean, that's just the way it works. So it's a team. You got to be balanced. You got to have guys around guys opening things up. So, all right, let's move on. Let's go anything else.
No. Nebraska at Purdue. Troy. So I will leave it to you.
Oh my. Nebraska's food to bed, and Purdue's at home, so they're going to get 3.5 points. Nebraska's got a decent offense. So does Purdue. I would take the over in the game, if you're betting. I'd probably say, I don't know what the over number is. I would say the over number is probably like 68, 69, somewhere in there. Sure. I don't know if you have that on your line, if it shows you the over or under.
I'll be able to look it up in a second.
So I'd say it's probably about 68, 68, somewhere in there.
No, yeah.
The spread on this game, I'm going to say, oh, man, to be honest, it might be a pick-em game because neither defense is great. Offenses are going to be good. Probably give the edge to, that's a tough one. I'm thinking. Since the game's at home, Purdue, I'm going to say Purdue by 5.5.
Nebraska by 3. Definitely.
I'm okay with that.
Definitely.
If I would have went the other way, if I would have thought Nebraska, I would have said Nebraska 5.5. I think it's a pick-em game. Yeah. I think these two teams are mirror images of each other. I just thought the game's at Purdue, I'd give the edge to Purdue. So. Yeah.
No, I don't think you're crazy. I think the difference is Purdue has their backup quarterback and Nebraska is supposed to have their starter back. I think that's the only. Yeah.
That line will change. That line will change if Martinez is ruled out.
Oh yeah, for sure. By the way, the over/under, I just looking at a couple numbers, 56.5 and 58 are two that I've seen. Yeah, I agree.
Man. I might have to real money that one.
Both teams.
58. You got one that's 58 and you got one that's 56.
Yeah.
That's 28 to 28. Neither of these defenses. You go back and look at the defense. The points allowed. That's like an average day in the park. And if Martinez is back, Nebraska scores 35 against Purdue. So that means Purdue only needs to score 21.
Right.
They're scoring 21 against Nebraska.
You would think.
Now we're going to get on the show next week. It's going to be Nebraska 13, Purdue 10.
Yeah.
That'll be
what it was against Northwestern. Yeah.
All right, move on.
Those were the two noon games. The only 3:30 game, get ready for this one, Rutgers at Illinois.
Got the DVR. I've got the DVR set.
Mm-hmm.
You don't believe
me. I'll say this. Oh, you actually are. I'll say this, though. Like Michigan at Maryland, it shouldn't really be interesting. Rutgers, Illinois shouldn't be interesting, to be honest. And the last
These games will be interesting if the upsets are going on. Like, here's the thing. Now that we just talked about the point spread and the over-under on the Nebraska-Purdue game, I might actually watch this game because I'm thinking that's a real money bet. I'm thinking about real money on that one. So I might have a ton of interest in that. And it might be just like, okay, Martinez, get there, get to the edge. Run it 70 yards. Yeah, don't run it.
That's to my point. I think that Nebraska at Purdue should be an entertaining game. So that might be literally the best game of the weekend for the Big Ten.
Well,
at least it would be entertaining.
I think the best matchup is that one right there.
Right. Yeah,
so
I agree.
You want me to pick this spread for
Rutgers at Illinois?
Well, Illinois won 2 in a row. They beat Wisconsin. It's at Illinois. Rutgers coming off a big win against Liberty, though. Huge win against Liberty. Huge for that program.
Mm-hmm.
Illinois by 17.
20.5. Yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm not mocking it.
No. Me either.
But that's a fair spread. I said 17. I mean,
yeah.
Illinois is a better team.
Yeah.
And we joked about it before. If Illinois loses this game to Rutgers, Lovey might as well go to U-Haul, rent the U-Haul, and grab the box.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, it would erase everything that's done the last 2 weeks. Because Rutgers is tied.
Yeah. And, again, I'm with you on the whole bowl eligibility talk, but they would finish under 6-6, and they wouldn't make a bowl game. So it's like, yeah, you had that one cool win against Wisconsin. You're still lost to Rutgers, still didn't make a bowl game. You still are through 4 years of this program, and it's like, what are we doing? So I'm with you 100%. As far as the game itself, I do think Illinois wins by at least 17.
Yeah, I will not be watching 1 second.
I will be.
You got to write about that one. Is that your assignment for the weekend?
We don't have given assignments until the day of, until the time comes. But I'll be writing about at least one of these for sure, if not 2. So
I can send you some. My wife actually takes these B light pills for energy, and they work. I take them too. I can send you some, youngster. You might need them.
Yeah, I might.
You might need them for that game. All right, what else we got? Let's go. We're well over now.
Last game. We got one more game here. The night game.
Oh, yeah, one more.
Yeah, the only night game on the schedule. Indiana at home against Northwestern.
Do we really care?
Oh, of course.
Indiana's at home against Northwestern, and Northwestern can't hit the broadside of a barn with anything right now. Indiana, though, is 6-2. Indiana by 14.
Indiana by 12.5. And I'm surprised it's that low, to be honest. Like, Indiana can score, and Northwestern cannot score. Like, they play Nebraska and score 10 points. They play Iowa, they score 0 points.
No, you want to lock this one up? You want to throw a lockout this week?
I'm down.
I'll take Indiana minus points.
Indiana at home. Indiana, by the way, this is the first ever November night game at home for Indiana at Memorial.
So if you're a Northwestern fan, you might want to get on the board with us. Your team might win, or at least cover the spread.
Right, cover the spread, yeah. But yeah, so it's a night game. Indiana is 6-2. The fan base that they do have will be excited that they actually have a decent team, and they are supposed to win. That definitely helps for casual fans to actually go to a game. You're not going to go to a game to see your school get crushed. You're going to a game if it's going to be entertaining. And it should be entertaining because Indiana should win by at least 2 touchdowns, in my opinion. And it's a night game. I really do think Indiana wins by at least 2 scores. So
all right, we'll lock it. You convinced me. You did your good lawyer talk today. I'll lock it.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, Northwestern has just
what's the old adage? Fall off the horse, get right back on it. We're 3-9. You got to keep getting on the horse.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm doing better in the real money stuff. Really glad. Yeah,
we've been pretty bad. So that's all I got for this week. Like I said before, to open the show, if you're still listening, thank you to the listeners. We know how many listeners we get. We thank all of you that do. We appreciate every single one of you, and you can follow us on social media at youngsteroldman. That's on Twitter. That's at Facebook, as well as thegruelingtruth.com. But again, next week we hope to do some sort of a Big Ten basketball show. Not going to sit here and review, 10 minutes on each team, but do a little something.
Not yet, anyway. We do our Big Ten preview show. It'll be our fourth one.
Yeah.
Or is it our fifth?
Fourth.
Fourth
year. Yep.
The time flies when you're having fun. All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Man, as the youngster said, find us on Twitter at youngsteroldman and on Facebook, same username at youngsteroldman. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Next week, same place, same time. Enjoy your week.